Welcome back to Majestic Mayhem. I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Piggles.
Happy to see everybody again on this wonderful Sunday. Um, I know for me it was personally a little busy. How was your week?
My week was uneventful, but sometimes that's a good thing. Just tired of waking up early and going to work. So just spent the whole week just relaxing, playing video games. It was nice. It was nice.
Oh, I miss that. I won't be able to sit down and play video games for a week until sometime November, I think.
Well, see, it's fun though because you're doing all the Halloween stuff and you have something to do. But I mean, there's people who out of 52 weeks in a year, they've got 51 weeks booked solid, and I don't understand why people do that to themselves. Like, don't I'll book one weekend and I'll keep 51 free is what I'll do.
I can't even blame you with that one. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I enjoy having free time in the occasion to breathe without
Yeah.
having to worry about doing this and that, and there's always and with today there's so much constantly going on. I figure nowadays if I miss it, somebody's recorded it. Like 20,000
Yes.
people have
Yes.
recorded it. I'll see it. It's fine. I'll catch up to it later. It's not a big deal. Like I told my friend, if I miss the election, good riddance. I'm sure I will hear all about it for the next 20,000 years. Like it is what it is.
Yeah,
People
it's
talk.
gonna be all over the place.
Yeah. Milfman, the haunted houses were great. Um, I've only started working on setting up mine, so I've been lucky so far to go to other haunted houses so far. We went to Busch Gardens Friday. I like it. I always like Busch Gardens, though. I'm kind of partial to Busch Gardens. I always feel like even if they didn't have the funding, they always had the love there. You could tell that
Mhm.
the people that were designing the houses and the scare zones and the people that were working enjoy what they do. So they put a lot of heart into it. So
Yeah.
I've always been partial to Busch.
So did they have all their Halloween stuff set up already? Or are
Hmm.
they still in the process of putting it all out?
Oh no, they had opening weekend
Okay.
already. And then about a month or so ago, yeah, about a month and a half ago, we got to go into one of the haunted houses early and do like a
Ooh,
dry run. They had
nice.
set it up. We didn't have the lighting and we didn't get all the sound effects, but they had most of the decorations up. So that was really cool to do a walkthrough. That was really fun. We pretty
Okay.
much went there just for that.
Have you done walkthroughs before at
Mm,
places?
yeah.
Okay, so how does it compare from seeing the walkthrough to seeing the finished product?
It's always interesting. It's extremely interesting because when you're walking through, like, what is essentially, I call it like an empty house. There's
Yeah.
always people that work there bustling around and stuff, but there's no actors at that time set up to specifically scare you. And the
Okay.
lights are on, so it's not as dim as it's going to be. You're not getting all the special effects, lighting, and things.
Mhm.
So when you're walking through, you're more or less getting a chance to like imagine what you think this is going to look like, how you think
Okay.
it's going to be set up. Like, oh, I think someone's going to be over here. Well, it looked like someone should be over here when you were doing the walkthrough, but when they actually do opening night, there's a statue over here, so there's actually a person over here. So you're not expecting it. So
Okay.
it's still a nice fresh experience walking through because you can go, "Oh, I recognize that, but I don't recognize that."
You give yourself your own jump scare because the people weren't where you thought they would be.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Like when we did do the dry run, one of the security guards that was just supposed to stand there and tell you if you got lost or something.
Mhm.
He scared me half to death. And I laughed. We were joking, making jokes about it and stuff. And when we walked through the haunted house on Friday, uh, Deadpool's going, hey, don't worry about that person over there. There was no security guard standing there at the time. So there was nobody to scare me. But there was one a couple of feet up on the other side that startled me because, we can't have a good night in haunted houses without the
Yeah.
security getting their jump scares in. Because as far as I'm concerned, sometimes they're more terrifying because they're all in black, quiet, standing there and just waiting for you to essentially do something wrong or to run into them. One of the two.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see these people. No offense, but it's kind of like running into the cops at a party. Not exactly a great time to be had there. We try to avoid them. So a little nerve wracking when you see them.
Nice. So now, are you going to get a chance to go to other haunted houses leading up to Halloween, or no, because you're busy doing the one that you work at?
Yes. Next weekend, this weekend, I'm going to SeaWorld, I think. And then I will be going to Sir Henry's sometime I think it's next month. And then there's another one, Petrified Forest, that I'm going to. And I believe, don't quote me on this one, but I think there's another one. I'm not sure. We keep finding them and adding them. I know there's another one that I'm forgetting. I just can't remember what they're called. So I'm really sorry. It'll be on Dred's channel, so it'll all be there. Yeah. If I remember the name to every company, I will probably start to forget things I shouldn't. So we've gotta pick and choose, guys. Pick and choose. Do you want me to remember the names of houses, or I can't remember the names, the states anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you get the point.
Yeah, I've been trying to find a new haunted house to go to because the one that we normally go to, I'm just getting kind of tired of it. So I want to go to a different one. But some of these are like, I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours. Like, as much as I love haunted houses, there's a limit. I don't want to go spend that long anywhere, really. Like, I'm doing this for fun. I don't want to spend half a day there doing things. And so many of them seem they're trying to copy the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's complaint is just that they allow so many people in, and like you reserve your time and you don't get in to 2 hours past your time. And I'm like, oh, that's one of the problems of the bigger one is you get so many people that they rush you through, and that's what makes it not fun. So I'm trying to find one that is decent, but isn't just insanely packed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's funny you say the time. I don't mind necessarily spending a lot of time if it's stretched out and I'm doing something. However, there was a trail that I was shown, and I'm not sure about that one because it's like 4 hours in one trail, and it's not for daytime. It's why am I spending 4 hours on one trail?
How long is this trail?
Good.
Yeah, how long is it? If you're there for 4 hours, how long is this thing? Like I said, 4 hours is half of a work day. No, I'm not spending that long.
I mean, if you give me a large theme park and you're telling me there's like 8 houses or 12 houses, you're talking like Universal Studios or Halloween, and you've got multiple houses and scare zones. That's one thing. That's one thing. You give me one trail and tell me this could take up to like 4 hours to get through. I got questions, and I don't think you're going to want to hear them because I got probably way too many questions. Why does it take so long to walk through it? What are we doing? Are we doing stop the torture scenes? Are we participating in torture scenes? Is someone going to try and put, is this an interactive house? I don't like interactive houses.
Yeah.
I have a rule against interactive houses. So if this is interactive, I absolutely want nothing to do with it. But if it's 4 hours and it's one house, what if we don't like it? Is there like some
Yeah.
kind of safe word that I can say to get me out?
Yeah, that's
What if I find it boring and start falling asleep? And like, I mean, things could happen. What if I get sick? What if I got to pee? What if?
yeah.
What if my kid calls me and I got to leave and go rescue her from, the babysitter? What if the babysitter dropped dead? Yeah.
And if you're on one trail for 4 hours, makes me think that this is a very long trail. So
How
if
much
something
walking is
happens,
involved?
well, if something happens and you want to leave, like, how far into the woods are you? Or how far into a giant field or wherever this thing is set up, right? Like,
Well, then that raises up other questions. What are the safety precautions that you've got in place in case all kinds of things go wrong, which inevitably something always does go wrong?
yeah,
Then the next question is, how quick is the response time for the ambulance or a cop or security or whatever? What are your insurance policies covering? Are they covering if someone falls and trips over a fake axe and accidentally, guts themselves? I mean, all kinds of what if there's a wild animal in the area? I got questions. I got way too many questions.
yeah.
So unless you want to answer like 1,001 questions, keep it quick. Keep it short.
Yeah.
My trail is like the longest you can drag it out. And I'm talking the longest you can drag my trail out. And this is if you're sitting on your butt cheeks and like crawling like you're a child. You could get through it in maybe 10 minutes. It's probably quicker than that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to drag it out. I'm scaring you for a short existence and trying to get you to take off running.
Mhm.
I don't want to hang out with you and your best friend Bill in the middle
Yeah.
of like a 5-acre woodage with boars and stuff. No, thank you. Unless you really are trying to become my next Halloween decoration, I'm gonna need you to keep it moving quickly. Nobody needs to be around for that long. I'm sorry. It's just me.
Well, then I've been looking up. So we live less than an hour away from Sleepy Hollow, which is the setting for The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, with the Headless Horseman. So they do a whole lot of stuff for Halloween. And one of the biggest things they do is this thing called the Great Pumpkin Blaze. And I forget how many pumpkins they have, but they're all hand carved. And it's like this huge thing. It's like thousands of pumpkins that are all hand carved that you walk through. It sounds really cool. But I just think, I don't know, how cool are pumpkins? And do I really want to drive 45 minutes and pay all that money to look at pumpkins? I don't know.
Probably not, but it might be something worth doing at least once. And
that's one thing. You do it one time to say you did it, but I'd rather go to a haunted house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes more sense. I'd rather go to a haunted house. If I have to choose between going and looking at decorations and going and scaring myself, I'm gonna go scare myself. I like to be scared. I always prefer that. Very thoroughly. There's an app that they started last year, I believe it is, and it actually will mark like people's personal haunts at their homes and things. So it'll actually tell you like people that set up in your neighborhood and your city and stuff, or even neighboring areas with all their haunted houses and stuff. I don't know what the qualifications are to get on there, but it sounded really cool. I was like, hey, that's an interesting thing. That could be something fun to do, on Devil's Night when you got nothing better to do. Like, I
should check that out, because when I go to the pharmacy, the lady who works there, I wore a Jason shirt one day, and I'm now her best friend. And every time I go in, she talks to me about Halloween. Doesn't matter what month it is. Doesn't matter. This is the only thing that she ever talks to me about is Halloween. And she's like, oh, well, my family has a big Halloween house around the corner. And I just acted like I knew what she was talking about. I have no idea what she was referencing. Like, she made it seem like just everybody knows this house. So I was like, oh, yeah, of course. I don't know. But, of course, they're not doing it this year. So I'm like, oh, of course. I was going to drive by to find where it was to see it. Because I could tell her, oh, I saw it. So I will have to go. Since she did say it's nearby, I'll have to go down a couple streets and see if there's any sort of decorations that I could then be like, oh yeah, I saw the house. I saw what you put out.
It's funny. It's actually funny that you mentioned that. The neighbors a couple, blocks over, that have the giant skeletons.
Yep.
I have been looking for them. They are not out. Neither one of them are out. I'm actually really surprised. I don't know when they took the one down that always stays up, but they haven't put it back up since the last storm. I guess Dreadpool was right. They have forgotten the 12-footers. It's a shame.
Maybe they're just waiting a few more weeks to get things set up. You never know.
That's true.
Maybe they're in the backyard because they got to power wash them, clean them off. I don't know.
I don't know. I hope they're okay. I hope those skeletons disappear because they're funny to me. I think they're hysterical. Do I enjoy putting them up? Not on your life. Do I like looking at them? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad when other people have them. I love when people decorate them for other holidays throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm just grateful that this year, as far as I know, I can't say that I'm guaranteed yet. I haven't gotten out of the woods yet. But as far as this year is going, I am not putting up any animatronics over 9 feet tall this year. I'm just so excited. So excited. For the first time since those animatronics have released, I will not be putting up a monster. And I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, most of them are really easy to get up. The skeletons, super easy, in my opinion, as far as those sizes go. They're kind of an awkward weight because the head weighs more than anything else on those stupid things. So they always want to wobble. But I'll tell you what, the flying witch on a broom is the worst animatronic I've ever put together. And if I never have to put another levitating animatronic, 12-foot animatronic together, it'll be far too soon. Those are the worst because they always got support beams that are nowhere near the dang animatronic. So you've got to literally lay the animatronic on its side.
Yeah.
You can put it. Who hurt you people? Whoever engineered, designed, and put this together, who hurt you? And why?
Because I bet you they saved 3 cents by doing it that way over by doing it a way that would have been a lot easier.
It takes me an extra 15 minutes to put an animatronic together on its side because then I got to lift it up and then get it stabilized. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I just want to set it up, build it as it's standing, and walk away like a normal person. But no, these levitating 12-footers, you got to put them on their side. Nobody cares.
See, they just need to sell one that you assemble vertical, and then they could sell you like a Halloween ladder because not everyone has a ladder. So if the people have one, they're not going to buy it. Who cares? But for somebody who doesn't have a ladder, you just need to, you sell the animatronic and you sell the ladder.
But see, if they
another way to make money.
If they were just smart and did what I did and just marry somebody tall, you don't need a ladder. It's not a you problem. It's a tall spouse problem. See, what you do is, or you get a tall best friend. I got one of those too. My friend's wife, she is a beast. She works on farms all day, so she's got muscles like you wouldn't believe. And she's as big as my husband. And her husband's about my size, so it cracks me up. Great couple. She's a beast, though. And I told him when we were putting animatronics together, I was like, she's coming with me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, no, my husband's not here. I'm taking her. because she's got the muscles and the height that I don't have. So I'm bringing
Yeah.
the muscles. You guys figure, you're men, you'll figure it out. It'll be fine. You got ladders and stuff. You got roofs you can jump off of. You'll be fine. They were perfectly fine. I don't know what they did, but they were fine. She and I got it done. I wouldn't do it without a tall person. I wouldn't do it without a tall person.
But see, that's the reason that I haven't, like, I would love to get one of those giant skeletons. I don't want to have to deal with putting it up. I would have to take it down because I don't want it to get damaged during the winter. But
You
where
can
on
replace
earth
the heads now, though. So
where
it
would
wouldn't matter if you did.
where would I store it? And then I have to put it up again. Like, I don't want to deal with it. So I don't decorate for holidays. I just don't. I have last year I put out one Christmas decoration. I bought a Christmas mouse. So he was just a little guy that I stood on my porch. It was simple. And he had batteries, so I didn't even have to plug him in. It was wonderful.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny.
Yeah, I didn't even have to get an extension cord. It was amazing.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
But you said you don't put decorations at your house because you just have normal year-round decorations. So you don't put any specific Christmas decorations, right?
I do have a Christmas thing that I hang on my door. It's got Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and Freddy in silhouette, and it says "slashing through the snow." That goes on my front door. I also have Santa's magical key.
Okay.
It's a thing for kids. If no one's familiar with it, it's a magical key that's very decorative. It's a skeleton key. It's supposed to be usually like comically large. It's a magical key that you put on the outside of your door for Santa to use to get into the house if you don't have a chimney, so you can bring presents. So I have a magical key.
So that answers the question of how people without fireplaces get gifts. Oh.
Yes. Some of us, we in Florida don't all have fireplaces because a lot of it's meaningless.
Why would anyone in Florida have a fireplace?
That's why if you'll ever look at Santa Claus, though, he always has a gold skeleton key on his belt, too. When you go take pictures with him at the mall, he'll usually have a gold skeleton key on his belt. That's his magical key to get to the house.
I think he'd prefer that because rather than coming down a fireplace, I would rather use the front door.
It's a fat magical man. I don't think it matters any way you look at it. So, I mean, last he told me, he doesn't really care. He's good with whatever. Now, Krampus is the one who gets a little particular about how he's getting into the house these days. But that's only because parents oftentimes forget he exists, and that's a whole different story and mess. But I like Krampus. He's a good friend. I like the idea that they have a huge parade, and they have a huge celebration for him in Germany. Okay. I want to go so bad one year. I'm not a fan of snow, so that's why I haven't really pushed it yet. But they get dressed up. It's like their version of Carnival. They get dressed up in big Krampus costumes with elaborate masks and makeup and stuff. And I'm like, that sounds like so much fun. It's like pretty cool. Perfect Christmas. Run around a bunch of scary, creepy looking half whatever they are things. Count me in.
So I read an article this week from Ohio. I don't know why. So like you normally read about Florida man. I don't know why I'm getting all this news from Ohio. People that are jerks. So some lady puts up a huge Halloween display for her neighbor. So she's probably on that map. You could go find her. It's like she's expected to have 300 people come through her yard. And she must set it up something like it's not just a display you look at, because she said that you could like walk through the yard, but she does this every year and everyone knows that she does. Well, she started setting it up 2 weeks early. People are actually complaining to the city about her. Like and why the city's telling her, I don't know, because they're like, you're not doing anything wrong. So then why are you bothering this poor lady? But like her whole neighborhood is getting all pissed off because 2 weeks early. But the real kicker is, and this is why she's so upset, is her husband has cancer and he's going through chemotherapy, so she has to start early because he's limited in how much he can help with the chemo. And she was like, if people would ask me, I would just explain. So not only are they all just curmudgeons and jerks, because even if you don't like it, who calls the city to complain? But then this poor woman's husband is sick. So I hope all these people feel like jerks.
Man, I'm so tempted to like find out exactly who she is and just send a bunch of people with like headless mannequins and just the nastiest, grossest, most gruesome decorations we can get and pull out and make, and just they should be ashamed of themselves. Like, one, it is never too early to celebrate and decorate for Halloween. You guys pull out Christmas decorations in July.
Yeah.
Okay? I had friends make jokes about doing Christmas stuff in July. I don't want to hear anything about it too early for Halloween. No, it's not.
But even if you don't like it, you're going to call a city to complain? Wouldn't you just be like, oh, God, I hate my neighbor? Right? Who actually calls to place a complaint? And especially when she said it's only 2 weeks earlier than normal. So you must have seen her set up before, and you know that she takes it down after Halloween. So it's not like you think that you have to look at this monstrosity year round.
I'm going to find this lady and I'm going to send her like a headless corpse to throw in the street just to piss the neighbor. Like, just leave it, tell her, leave it in the driveway.
If I lived in your neighborhood, out of solidarity, I'd be like, okay, we're getting decorations this year. Let's put them all up.
I'd take it a step farther and be like, oh, you guys don't like it? Guess what? I paid for my driveway, right? You want to know what I can do with my driveway?
Yeah.
Blood. You know what stains? Forever. Take blood. How you gonna like that? It's gonna look like a crime scene in my yard every day, 365 days a year. And for Christmas, I might put a fat man chalk outline there just to really impress your kids. Make you happy?
That would be amazing.
I could be the most vindictive, petty person on the planet, and there is nothing worse than pissing off a haunter, because we do nothing but sit around all year just waiting for Halloween so we can just trash our houses and make it okay, make it sociably acceptable to be as demented and disgusting as we are. Yeah, I would be absolutely the one to buy that Krampus animatronic that's, got the kid upside down by the legs on one hand and him sucking the soul out of the other kid. That would go in my front yard November 1st.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
You totally just petted Michael Myers like you were Dr. Evil petting the naked cat.
This is my version of the cat. You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. I shall name you Mini-Me.
Batman says he is the Megan AI doll plushie. I don't even know who that is, but
are you talking about the Megan, the movie Megan, the doll, the animatronic doll that just came out? Was it last year?
Okay, so I didn't see the movie, but I just Googled and I do know who this is. Now that I see her, I know who this is.
I saw that costume this year. I'm interested to see how many of those little doll robot things we get walking around. I want to see somebody with that mask on because those things are creepy as hell. Ugh. They're so. And then people are like, "Oh, the CIA." People could be really. Do you know how hard it is to talk through that much latex? Like, as someone who has a latex mask that glues to their face and it will move with my face, it can. It's very hard to distort it because it's so thick. And let's be honest, you're essentially gluing rubber to your face, like 2 inches of rubber. You're not showing emotion. Maybe a little movement if you're over exaggerating.
So you're show whatever emotion the mask is showing.
Pretty much.
Right.
I mean, in my experience, you can barely hear out of the mouths of those things, even when they're glued down to the lips. It's very hard to get noise out, much less hear things with those things on. They don't even cover your ears. The ones that I use don't even cover my ears, and I can barely hear things because it's like it's going through so much. So much. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the latex masks I use. I use a 2-piece mask. I have a layered mask. My front has a doll look on it, and then I peel it off. It's all tissue and muscle.
That's cool. I like that.
Oh, bloody, disgusting. It's really cool looking. I love it. I may wear it this year. I didn't think about that. I haven't thought about that. I might wear it this year. It's one of my favorites, especially when I take it off and hand it to people.
Yeah.
You want to trade? I like your face.
I like that you want to trade. Milfman feels very strongly about Megan, that it was terrible and one of the worst horror movies ever.
I didn't see it. I have no opinion on it because I didn't see it. I'll be honest. I watched the last Chucky movie, the remake, where they turned him into an AI doll, and I couldn't get into it like at all. None of it, from the jump, none of it was believable. And it's not even so much that all of the technology is absolutely there. But the problem is, why would you give your kid's toy that much access to everything? Like, the whole point of the Chucky doll was that it could be connected to your AC unit. It can be connected to your house cameras, your smart TV, your computer, you know what I mean? All the smart things you can do in your house, which, okay, cool for an adult. That's great. I'm not giving my 5-year-old access to my thermostat. I don't care how smart they think they are and how much I love them. That's just stupid. Like, so I can't imagine connecting everything in my house to my kid's toy. Like, that's just, why would I connect my lights to my living room to my child's doll? Why would I connect my security system to my child's doll?
I know, but if the whole I've actually never seen any Chucky movie ever. I obviously know who Chucky is. I just never watched the movies. But if you can believe about a child's doll murdering people, why can't you believe that people would give the doll access to security cameras? I don't know.
Because that was a lot more believable. That's more believable than me buying my kid a toy, connecting it to everything in my house and everything that I own, giving my child the toy, and then disappearing and leaving this toy to watch my child that's connected to.
Oh wait, so so Chucky babysitting the kids?
Chucky, he's not a child like he's like a teenager or preteen. I don't think they ever exactly say how old he is. But he's like 13. The kid's he's like 13, 12, 13. I would say they're between 11 and 13. And So they don't need babysitters. Are you giving your 14-year-old access to the smart lights in your house, to the refrigerator, the grocery list? What 14-year-old wants access to half this stuff anyway?
Your entire
That's
grocery
just
list is
dumb.
just like Mountain Dew and Doritos and Twinkies, right? That's your whole grocery list. Pizza
I
roll.
just want gushers
Yeah.
and sweet tarts and fruit roll-ups. I mean, that to me, that was the most unbelievable thing. Yes, I understand we're talking about a doll that goes on a killing rampage. It's completely implausible. I understand that. But as a parent, that whole putting my kid's toy and attaching it to all of the smart objects in my house just put the brakes on everything, because it was like, that's as dumb as the parents that go, my kid spent $50,000 on an iPhone account by buying all this stupid stuff in an iPhone app. Why does your 15-year-old have access to an account with a cell phone? Why? Make it make sense, folks. Like, who does this stuff? But I'm guessing the movie wasn't geared towards me. It was probably geared towards people who do have those types of problems in life. My kid accidentally spent like $2 on an account, and I knew about it within 5 minutes. They were like, "Hey, did you buy this?" And I went, we're done. We're putting a lock on it. So yes, the most unbelievable thing about the new Chucky is you're giving your kid access to all of this smart equipment, your smartphones, your car.
So okay, so Star Wars collecting and hobbies. He's joining us for the first time. He said though with Megan, the reason they connect her to show how impressive the technology is to sell units is that like, can you buy it, more Chucky dolls? Is that like, was that maybe why they were connecting it? They just didn't quite make that clear, or is Chucky like just there's one Chucky?
Well, in the new one, it was supposed to be a version of Chucky that was supposed to be sold. In the one doll, apparently there's a nice or a bad personality chip switch, and they
Totally
switched it
normal.
to bad with some
Totally
kind of
normal.
virus or something, and it snowballed from there. That's why there's no other evil Chuckies in the world. They're
Okay.
all accessible. It's just only he's Satan incarnate, I guess.
I totally think that Furbies had that evil switch in them. When the Please tell me you know what a Furby is.
I do know what a Furby is. I never really cared much for them. They used to just irritate me because I had friends that would say like, "Oh, mine talks. I can never get mine to do anything but like babble and like sing some stupid babble song every once in a while." But then after a little while, it started going off at like random times in the night. So I took the batteries out and like buried that thing underneath my toys. Never bothered me. It annoyed me. I was like, "Why are you talking?"
Perry said that the worst horror movie is The Postman, starring Kevin Costner. Milfman hasn't seen it, and I don't think anyone has seen it. I think that was the problem. I think
Yeah, Postman.
it's totally not a horror movie. Well, I mean,
I don't remember that.
I've never seen it. I don't. You don't remember it because no one remembers it. It was a horrible movie. Didn't they spend like oodles of money making it and had Kevin Costner, so everyone thought it would be amazing, and it was just
Isn't that The Postman Always Rings Twice? Isn't that what it's?
No,
Is
no,
that the movie I'm thinking of? The Postman Always Rings Twice, or is it something else?
no, like no. He's making a joke. I totally think he's like in the Wild West, and he's really like a postman on a horse in the Wild West. I think.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I have seen that one. It's not good.
No.
Because he ends up transporting like a group of 2 or 3 women across the way too at some point. Or maybe it wasn't him.
It's
Maybe
a
it was
sci-fi adventure film.
I know what movie that is. Okay. Anyway.
It's a post. Oh! I totally thought because I knew that there was sand in it, so that's why I thought it was like in the Wild West. No, a post-apocalyptic and neo-Western version of the disestablished United States in the then near future of 2013.
Oh, no.
So 16 years after apocalyptic events happened,
That's not
and it
even.
erased technology. So he's a mail carrier.
That sounds amazingly terrible.
Yes.
And I think I'm gonna pass on that one because no, it's not Waterworld.
Waterworld was
It's an
another
old
horrible
Western.
movie.
That's another terrible movie. Horrible movie. No, it's an old Western, but I don't think
Oh
it's
gosh,
got Costner
the
in it. It's an older
so the
one.
Postman had an estimated $80 million budget. It only grossed $30 million worldwide.
Looks like Costner can't do everything now, can he?
But in the chat, there's another one Jeepers Creepers franchises they like.
I like the first one. The second one had pieces of it that I could deal with. The third one was absolute dog doo-doo. Yeah,
I've never seen any of them.
I'm gonna go with that. That's. Yeah, it seems like the more you go on with a series, the worse the series gets. And I can say that as someone who loves the Halloween franchise because they are horrible as they go. Like there's the first Halloween is amazing. The second Halloween, it's very it starts to get real far-fetched. It starts like teetering. Most people don't like the third Halloween, Season of the Witch, because Michael Myers isn't even in it. It's now got the Cult of Thorn. That's a whole different problem we won't get into, but the movie itself, not bad. And bonus points, it's got a horrifying ending. There's no happy ending for that movie. Guess what? All of the kids die. His kids die. Congratulations, folks. You watched the movie. Now all the kids that are wearing those Lucky Shamrock masks, they're dead because the commercial's still playing. He only got the commercial and not playing on one channel. Welcome. Halloween 4 is terrible. Halloween 5, it doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. We could skip. And then you got Halloween H2O. That's not the worst one in the franchise. Not the best. The mask is horrible in there. Halloween Resurrection. It's another pile of, wait a minute, let me see what time it is. Yep, I can say it now. Halloween Resurrection, another pile of dog shit. You're welcome. Then we skip to Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. The first one's not the worst. The second one, dude is really on some drugs and makes some serious drug references. That's about all that movie has going for it. Otherwise, there's no reason. Why do I feel bad for Michael Myers? Everybody in that movie deserves to die. Both 1 and 2. Everybody deserves to die, including his mother. I don't feel bad. They all should go. And the sister losing her mind at the end? Makes sense. Who wouldn't? That's neither here nor there. And we go back to Halloween 18? Not bad. Good. Halloween ends. No, Halloween Kills. Sorry, Halloween Kills. Not bad. Could have been a little better. Then Halloween ends. Hopefully, Halloween finally does end. The series ended on a nice note. Michael Myers is dead. Laurie Strode is hanging by a string. Her annoying daughter's dead. Half the town has been slaughtered. If they bring it back, I honestly don't know where they're going. I was questioning where Halloween Ends was going because they killed half the town in Halloween Kills. So I didn't know who was left to die.
So Frank loves Halloween 3. And then I don't remember who it was in the chat. I don't know if maybe it was Milfman or Batman. Someone said that they were going to watch the last Halloween movie that came out because we didn't spoil it. But I mentioned how that has the worst dance scene ever when they're in the bar. It was just, I don't really even remember much about the movie because that dance scene took over my whole brain. It was too long. It was weird. Like, that could have been 30 seconds long, and it felt like it went on for like 30 minutes. It was, I don't know. Like I said, it was just weird.
The death scenes that he creates at the park later are worth you having to watch that. And I'm not even gonna lie, when he just like, I mean, seriously, they have turned Michael Myers into like, I don't even, he's just like a beast in those movies. He really is a beast in the last two movies.
Yeah.
Because a whole car full of people pull up to go after him, and he just systematically disarms them, dispatches them, and slaughters them one after another like it's a cakewalk. Dude's not even breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
So again, it was at the end of that movie, it was like, how are we doing another one of these? And how is he staying in Haddonfield? Because he has literally killed the whole town. Who's left to die?
Well, he didn't kill all the important people. He didn't kill the people who need to come back for more sequels. Is really
kind of killed a lot of people. That's the thing. He killed a lot of people. I mean, in the end of Halloween, when they attack him in the road, he slaughters 30 people.
Like, but more than 30 people live in the town.
Well, that's just right there. Then take Halloween Kills, and he slaughters at the end of that movie when they attack him again in their little mob mentality. There's like, what, 50 of them? And he just slaughters everyone without question. Doesn't even think about it. He's like, no, you're not walking. Oh, Evil dies tonight? That's cute. Here, have you ever heard of We Don't Die? Like, you can chant your little Evil dies tonight, but that's cute because you know what's been around a lot longer? Evil doesn't die.
Evil dies tonight. Pumpkin pies tonight. That's what Frank said. Was that even quote in the movie? I don't remember movies.
No,
but.
that was another. That's funny though. It would have been better because I mean that Evil dies tonight thing. I mean, like I said, he systematically slaughtered the entire town. I don't know how big the town you live in is, but I know if we decide to run a mob around here, we've got maybe a little bit of hope, but not much. Well, I mean, if someone goes on a rampage and kills, a couple hundred people, we're gonna notice it. We're gonna
say more than 100 people live here, but yeah, I think it really is. If all of a sudden 100 people die, well, it did that because think how many years he's been killing people. At a certain point, don't you move away from town? You're like, there's something weird's happening. I don't want to live here anymore.
Here's the thing,
right?
So imagine it's Devil's Night, okay, which is the night before Halloween, and you start hearing rumors that the bus that Michael Myers is on has crashed, and there's people running around and dead. And there's been a few random murders, a break-in with some random things being missing. I don't know about you, but this is where Horror 101 comes in for Death Dealer. I'm going to be like, you know what, folks? Tiny Giant, pack a bag. Dreadpool, pack a bag. You know what we're going? Anywhere
somewhere that's not here.
Anywhere else. Because you know what that sound is outside? Nobody cares. We're not looking. Doesn't matter. We're not going to be here to deal with it. Let someone else deal with it. The neighbor wants to light their house on fire and burn the boogeyman in their basement. That's cool. I want to be 700 miles away drinking a pina colada. Anything else?
Right, so chat says because of the success of the last trilogy of Halloween movies, the makers of the movie said it would be hard to believe they won't make another trilogy or something for 2028, which is the 50th anniversary. I agree. If you get to the 50th anniversary because they've been making money, I don't know if they would make another trilogy though.
They wouldn't be able
I could
to
see
make
them doing
another
more though.
Trilogy without a lot of pushback, only because they'd essentially be saying, "Hey guys, we know we can't make a good cohesive movie, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one script, throw it into 3 parts, and stretch it out like we've done with I'm not even going to rattle off, but we all know they've been guilty of it because we
Yep.
have stretched things out. I mean, hell, Infinity War is like a friggin' 20,000 long movie. Realistically, it was like one season of comics, but that's not the point. They do it to so many things. They've done it to so many. I mean, they did it with the last couple of they did it with Hunger Games, I think too. They made 2 movies out of that when it was 1 book.
But if they keep making money, they're going to keep doing it.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And if this is going to be your last trilogy anyway, just because of the age of everybody involved, do you really care if people don't like it as much? You just need to make back the money that you spent on it. Even if you, like, then, okay, we can't make any more, well, you weren't going to make any more anyways.
Oh, I would imagine most of the people that would actually care to make it worth something, most of them are all dead. I mean, not for nothing, a lot of them are not here anymore. So I don't know how much love it's actually going to receive from the back end, because if it's just a money and a paint by numbers game for them, it's going to be another slasher. It's going to be another Jason Voorhees. And they've already stretched that out to me. And we've already found out how that one can crash and burn in today's society. Because just because it's a horror movie and it's an icon doesn't mean it's going to sell. I mean, Jason, the remake of Jason, Friday the 13th, tanked. It did. And I mean, that movie is absolute shit. I'll be the first one to say it. I don't mind Friday the 13th. I like them. That's not one of the better ones of the, which isn't saying much because Friday the 13th is a stupid story to begin with. It's a new kid that died in the lake that comes back. He's all of a sudden he goes from being a 4'0" handicapped disabled kid to a 7'5" 430-pound muscle machine.
Yeah, he's powered by revenge.
I'm sure he, and I
they said, like,
wanted all these years. I
still like in kids movies, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like Pooh Bear or something. They're like, oh, his heart grew 3 sizes. Well, with him, it's just with the revenge. His body grew 3 sizes. He's just.
Well, the problem is that Jason Voorhees' character has been rewritten so many times, and because of them redoing the movies and writing more movies and doing another sequel and another, they've had so many people work on it. So many people own different pieces of the character, and none of them like each other. So when you've got Bill and Ted over here that say, okay, we'll allow you to use the character. You've got Chris and Kyle over here who say, oh, you've got these 2 guys. We're not allowing you to have these ones. So now you've got an issue, because how do you separate those 2 characters who are talking about the same exact person, just from 2 different movies?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, so they're going to essentially do the same thing to Michael Myers if that's how they go. They're going to put too many people with their hands in it to where the character is just essentially untouchable, because the copyrights won't be able to, you won't get them. You just won't get them.
Frank said Jason had a globe. Don't hate.
Jason X was amazing. Okay. Jason X was amazing. It's one of his better movies, in my opinion. He looks beautiful in the end of that movie. Glorious.
And Jason goes to space. He becomes a robot. He just keeps reinventing himself.
Yes, he does. He does. I would like to see the new Friday the 13th TV series. But I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't. It was supposed to happen 5 years ago. There was supposed to be another remake of another, they were supposed to remake the movies again. They were going to do another Jason versus Freddy type movie with Pinhead, but they couldn't get the rights. I mean, I'll watch it if it comes out, but chances of it coming out, like I said, the character's so wrapped up in paperwork and tires, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, I forget the details, but I know somebody just got a bunch of rights to do a whole bunch of different Jason things. So I'm hoping they come out with a new video game. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'd appreciate it if they left it offline. This one can be offline. I don't need to play online with everybody. We've been there.
Or we can have an online mode because that was so much fun. But yeah, have an offline mode so we can keep playing. That's,
when they inevitably lose the licensing.
Yeah.
I'd like to keep my game, please. I have Friday the 13th somewhere already, and I can't play it because.
And that was such a fun game. Oh, I enjoyed it so much. And then similar to that, then I enjoyed playing Evil Dead, which then that just dropped off, so people stopped playing that. But I don't know who said it here. Oh, Batman did that. We're getting 2 more Evil Dead movies.
Are you counting the last Evil Dead spinoff thing? Because I was counting that as one of the Evil Dead movies, and I was really hoping that counted as like 2 movies, and we weren't getting any more.
See, I like the Evil Dead TV show. I thought that was really good. I like that better than I like the movies, but I like all the characters. So if there's more movies, I'm going to watch them without a doubt.
I like the original movies with Art, and I also liked Army of Darkness. I thought that was a funny movie. I liked the TV show. The TV show was good. I did like the first Evil Dead movie that they came out with when they did the remake and they made it all gritty and, it, in my opinion, it wasn't a remake so much as a different movie almost entirely, because the original Evil Dead was more campy and less horror. It had a horror through it, don't get me wrong, but it was more campy. And the new one had none of the jokes, none of the comedy, nothing. So it was just straight horror. So I consider that as something a little different. I thought that was good in its own right. The other one with the apartment, I was not really interested. It was kind of boring and a little much at times. And it just... It's like that kid that tries too hard to be cool.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, aren't you cute? Go over there.
Yeah. But again, if they're making more movies, I'll definitely check them out. Hopefully won't be disappointed, but we'll see. Axel said that P.S. I Love You is the scariest movie of all time because every lady sees it and says, oh, I wish you would do that for me, which means they want you to die.
I still hate that movie.
I don't even know what it is.
I still hate that movie. Always have. Always will. Sorry. Can't say anything about that. Oh, the new Salem's Lot movie comes out next month. There's another Salem's Lot movie? Why? Just honestly, why? I mean...
Money?
Why? Which ones are we remaking though? Like there's like 12 different Salem's Lot. Which one are we remaking here? And why? Did we need to? Were they that bad? I mean, don't get me wrong, Rob Zombie's... Oh, wait, what the hell? Is this called Salem's Lot too? I feel like he had a Salem's Lot.
So now is Stephen King still involved in all this stuff? Because I know he's been... I don't know if he said that he was trying to get more of his stuff released or what, but I did see him talking about some of the movies lately. I mean, if he's involved, I would hope, then I think it would be better. But I don't know how much involvement, it's his story, but I think a director would not want to involve the author because they want to do their own thing. You know what I mean?
Just how many Salem's Lots do we really need? That's what I want to know. How many of these movies how many movies specifically titled Salem's Lot do we need? Are they all that bad that we have to remake them again? Because, I mean, I know some of them aren't great. Not all of them are terrible. And they're all pretty much the same thing. Weird things happen in a small town. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Why do we keep remaking that? Why can't we call it something else? How about just Lot? I'll take
Okay,
it.
so that's actually one of my complaints about so many movies with established franchises,
Yes.
and they've done it with not even just horror, just anything that has an established franchise. You make a movie and you try to just, it's like you're putting the square peg in a round hole, right? And you're just like, oh, this
Oh
fits
no,
in.
no.
This fits
There's
into Jurassic Park. This fits into Ghostbusters. This fits into Freddy. No, it doesn't. You're making a movie that you should just give the character a new name, give it a new backstory, and you'd have a great standalone movie. But when you try to pigeonhole it into an existing franchise, those of us who love the original are mad because we feel like, well, you're ruining my franchise. No one does a good job of like transitioning. And that's what I think with the latest Ghostbusters movies that came out, they finally realized it and they're doing a better job of honoring what the franchise is, but turning it over to new characters.
Mhm.
And I think that that's what you have to do. Don't just crap all over our whole franchise that we know and that we love and that we've loved for 30, 40 years.
Mhm. No, I mean, I find more or less a lot of the irritation. One, they keep remaking things that don't need to be remade just yet. They're remaking good movies. Why don't you remake the terrible movies that didn't have the budget, that didn't have the right actors for the role, that didn't have a good casting director, whatever the case, special effects were way off, whatever the case may be? Give me something like that. I'm kind of tired of you remaking good movies, classics. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it, why haven't they ever done some of Vincent Price's old movies? And it's not because people wouldn't pay to see it. I mean, they would. The Red Masquerade is an amazing movie.
Mhm.
If they redid that today, it's an amazing story. Still holds up. King in a castle, terrified of the plague, locks him and his friends away to hold this wonderful party, only for the plague to actually be in there and everyone's dead.
Yep.
I'm sorry if I've just spoiled a 300-year-old story for you guys. It's Shakespeare. You're welcome. But why haven't they remade that? Why? Because Vincent Price did an amazing job. The rest of the actors and actresses in the movie did an amazing job. And the special effects, while they may not necessarily hold up today, they were done well enough and to such a degree that it doesn't necessarily, it's not the focus of the movie. So it's still a classic today.
Yeah.
I mean, but then you take a look at some of the movies that have been done today, and they would never hold up. They'll never hold up 20 years from now. I mean, Evil Dead, as good of the movie as Evil Dead, the remake is it going to hold up in 20 years? Probably not. The effects are a bit much at times. I mean, for God's sakes, most of the movie is nothing but blood screen. Is that really going to hold up in the future? I don't know. But I know why Bruce Campbell's hand holds up. It's because he's funny.
Yeah, he holds up those movies big time.
Mm-hmm.
But like for Salem's Lot, which RWK has, he wants Salem's used car lot. I think that it is. But like, how many stories has Stephen King written? Why can't we get a new movie? Right? There's so many stories that he's written that I would love to see over keep remaking old ones.
I'm kind of tired of them turning his short stories into movies. I wish they'd stop doing that because his short stories, while they're good, he's got some really good stories. And for them to turn like Pet Cemetery, when people hear, oh, it's a story by Stephen King, and then they go to read it, and they're not realizing it's like 10 pages, if that. It has next to not a lot of detail, guys. Not a lot of detail. Most of your detail is put in the movies. So saying, oh, this doesn't hold. Guys, there's not really much of a blueprint for Pet Cemetery. It's kind of lackluster. They make it up as they go.
Well, I think some stories though that are short, you can expand upon them and make a movie. Some short stories are better off staying short. You can't, right? You can't add enough to fill 2 hours of movie. It's a much better story if you keep it short.
That's true. I mean, that is true. Sleepwalkers, or is it Sleepwalkers? Sleepers? It's Sleepwalkers. It's the name of the movie. It's a Stephen King movie. It's based on one of his short stories. The short story is better than the movie is. The movie's kind of goofy. It kind of drags things out and adds this ancestral thing to it. And unnecessary, guys. I want a short story. Don't need to know why. Wish everyone would quit trying to give me reasons why my villains want to slaughter teenage blondes in their 20s. I don't care why. I don't need to know why. I just want to see you do it and do it in fascinating, invigorating ways. I don't care why.
So here's my streaming service idea, right? Because I've been watching a whole bunch of documentaries lately, I've been watching a whole lot of documentaries. And what they're doing now is instead of just here's 3 hours of a story, here's 3 1-hour episodes, somebody should make like, here's season 1 of Stephen King's horror, and you should just have 45-minute episodes, right? So then you could just tell all of these little short stories. So instead of like in a documentary where they take one long thing and break it up, don't break it up. Just make it that, okay, I have a story, but I don't have enough to make a 2-hour movie, but I have enough to make a 45-minute episode. And you could totally do, like I said, you could have season 1 of Stephen King. Season 2, pick somebody else. Make Edgar Allan Poe short stories. Some of his are longer and it could handle more movies, but like short stories. Well, there's my streaming idea, because it wouldn't work. You can't release it in a theater or anything, but that'd be perfect for a streaming service.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because it actually reminded me of something. The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. Yes. That is the perfect example of a short series or episodes based on short stories that it's done extremely well, that does tie into a much longer, larger story, but they tie in the short stories nicely. I thought it was really well done for that. So something like that would be much preferred. I don't need 4 hours on a 10-page story.
Yeah, not at all. So I've never watched The Fall of the House of Usher. I'll have to check that out.
It's, if you like Edgar Allan Poe, you'll like it.
So I absolutely love Edgar Allan Poe. And you know how like a month ago I told you I would go into Cracker Barrel and I was pumped because I love Cracker Barrel? Mm-hmm. This is still sitting at my desk. So I bought my cute little ghost mug, but I also bought...
Nice.
Because it was such... The cover is nice. It's like what's reversed embossed, so it's like indented into it, and then it has, because I don't want to crack my spine, but it has, drawings on the inside. But yes, I do love Edgar Allan Poe, because this is not... When I bought the book, Perry was like, well, if you're going to read it, go ahead and buy it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to read it. Do you think that's, like, I have this book in different formats? Like, no, it's a nice book. Of course I'm buying it.
It's funny. You probably cringe at the copy I have. I have a work of Edgar Allan Poe, and it's probably over 20 years old and missing part of the cover.
Well loved
all the time. Oh yes, very well loved. I mean,
well, the thing is, you have some books that are books for reading, and you have some books that are books for displaying.
That is true. That's very true. I
have other Poe books that are well read.
I also have a collection of the original fairy tales in their original storytelling phases, I guess you could. They're not really fairy tales so much as they're extremely cautionary stories where almost everyone, well, no, who am I kidding? Someone dies in every story. Every story has someone who dies. It wasn't until years later that I had sat back and went, holy crap, I didn't even think that I didn't think that somebody died in every single one. Nope. somebody dies in every single one of them. Every one of them. It's like, wow. Yeah, they really made it kid friendly for. They are not always nice. Some of them was like, wow, how in the hell? That's an interesting story. They even have a fairy tale about candles.
About candles.
Mm-hmm. Father, death, and candles.
I was gonna say, does a candle light somebody on fire?
No, according to legend, everyone's lifeline is tied into a candle.
Okay.
And when your candle goes out, that's the end of your life. And death is in charge of the candles and keeps them around their home. And
Okay.
yeah, death gets to decide when to extinguish a candle and when not. And it's a whole story about death accidentally ending up adopting a human. it's, it's not really that interesting, but it makes it out to be so much longer than it is. He accidentally ends up with a kid because this kid's born to a really broke family, and they've already got like half a dozen kids.
Mhm.
So the father takes the kid to the center of town to try and find a godfather for the
Okay.
kid, so the kid can be taken care of by somebody else. Essentially give the kid away. And I don't know why they put it as a godfather instead of just giving the kid away, but I don't ask questions. But he asks around town, he asks multiple different people, and every time he's told no. Well, he finally comes across one guy who's not really dressed the best, but he doesn't look like he's really poor either. So the guy figures, what the hell? I'm kind of running out of options. I either ask this guy and hopefully he takes him, or I've got to take this kid home and it's going to starve. So he asks this last guy, and the guy says, I don't think you want me to be the godfather. And the guy's like, will you keep him safe and warm? And death does do those things technically, because you will never be hungry and you will never be cold. Yep. So he takes the kid and he raises the kid, and the kid eventually starts asking questions about the candles and things, wanting to know why death makes some candles longer than others, why he continues to lit some, because he replaces the wax in some, and obviously with the rest of them, the life is extinguished, they're done. And the kid wants to get a little longer life. So he tries to sneak a longer life from death for him and I think his girlfriend in the story. And it ends up backfiring on him. It just doesn't go well. But it's more or less death is in charge of the life candle.
It actually sounds pretty cool, though.
It's an interesting story.
See, and that, you wouldn't want a whole movie out of it, but give me a 30 to 45 minute episode and I'd watch it. You could totally make a little episode out of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that all of the streaming service executives are watching us right now, so please take my advice. This is what you need to make.
I mean, if you need ideas, when I did a Twisted Fairy Tales themed party one year, I did have a section for Death and his candles. I'm just saying, I got you covered, guys.
See, you with all the fairy tales, you could have like right here, you could come up with lay out the entire like one season for them. Like, okay, here's all the characters and here's all the stories that you need. Go make it happen. Do my royalties.
I'd probably have half the props and most of the costumes. Hire me, I'm your person, guy.
Yeah. So Batman says that he likes the ontology stories, which I don't even know what that is. And I Googled what ontology meant, and I still have no clue what it is.
Are you? I could be wrong. Did you mean anthology stories? I think he means anthology stories. It's the ones. If it's what I'm thinking. Okay. Batman, I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me on this. An anthology story is Creepshow. you've got one story that starts it off for one character, and they kind of slowly lead into another story, and then they lead into a second story, and usually they're in the third story. It wraps all back around, and it's got to do with them. Like
Okay.
Tales from the Hood. Have you ever seen Tales from the Hood?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
But see,
There.
that sounds that would be perfect with the concept of the short story episodes. And they
Yeah,
wouldn't have to be an anthology, but like one of your seasons could totally do that. They could all kind of connect back to each other.
yeah.
Oh, we're
Well,
geniuses.
there's some really good ones. I'm trying to think. There's one
You know
that.
what's funny is the video games that I was the like the one series I've been playing, and I know Milfman plays it. It totally calls it an anthology. Like that's in the title, and I never once Googled what it meant. I didn't know what it meant. I was just like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna play the games because they all have different titles. I didn't really care. I just figured it had something to do with the group of games.
Hmm.
And Sir X Man, he stopped by. I don't even. He's been watching football. I don't even watch football. I just know the Bears.
It's funny. Hood of Horror. That's the Snoop Dogg one. Snoop
Okay.
Dogg's got Hood of Horror. Creep Show's an anthology. The original Tales from the Crypt movie,
Okay.
19, I think it's like 72 or something. There's yeah, basically any movie. VHS. Have you seen any of the VHS movies? How about ABCs of Death?
No. I
Uh,
actually there's if you ask if I've seen a movie, chances are the answer is no.
hmm,
I'm just
understandable.
I didn't grow up watching movies, so then as an adult I don't think to watch movies. And then
That's
even now when I watch them, I enjoy them, but I have like amnesia involving movies and I forget that I've seen them. And then I argue with Harry because he tells me I watched them. I'm like, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? And then he like gives me a little recap, or he'll put it on for me, and we get like 5 minutes in. I'm like, okay, I guess I did see this. It happens all the time.
I kind of envy you at times when I watch a really bad movie. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to remember this nonsense for the rest of my life.
But though, I think that's why I enjoy movies so much because I don't have the expectations that other people do. So I do get mad because, like I said, that I hate when you try to like don't ruin my established, um, characters that we have and everything.
Yeah,
But I don't expect too much out of my movies, and I'm just there to have fun. I'm just there, give me my 2 hours of fun, and I think I enjoy movies so much more than other people because they have so many expectations and they're looking for, oh, does it tie back to this, and are there little Easter eggs? And I don't look for any of that. I just watch the movie. It is what it is. I just watch what's on the screen and I enjoy it.
I understand. I get the same way. I'm not always looking
Yeah.
for a reason for it to. I don't need for everything to have a meaning with everything, and that's where I think like I've had the discussion with other friends of mine. I have a friend of mine who absolutely loves the Rob Zombie Halloween.
Hmm.
I don't like it. Now, it's got nothing to do with what most people think, and it's got everything to do with I feel like Rob Zombie's Halloween gives Michael Myers too much of a background. I feel like it gives him too much of a reason to be the way he is. I don't need that. I also have the same issue with the Maleficent movie. I wanted to like Maleficent, the movie. I really did. I love the original Sleeping Beauty. I adore it. I love Maleficent in that movie. She's amazing.
Hmm.
I like the Maleficent movie, but again, I feel like it's too much. I don't need to know why everyone is the way they are all the time. Sometimes I just want my bad guy to be a bad guy. Sometimes I want my shape just to be the boogeyman. I don't need him to have grown up in an abusive, neglected background. I don't need him to have been bullied and picked on and tortured. And I don't need any of this. I really don't. Jason Voorhees gave me just a little bit of a background. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all I needed with him and his background, and that was enough. And I never asked another question of how a small 4 foot nothing.
You didn't ask how he got his blow up.
I didn't need to know. Never needed to care. Never once did I ask, how did Michael Myers go from this tiny child in the beginning who, killed his sister and spent his lifetime? How did he learn how to drive? I don't care. I don't need to know.
And two, when you give too much backstory, you lock yourself in. Yeah. Now, if you make more movies, you have that backstory that maybe has a detail that doesn't fit in with something you want to do 3 movies from now.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. We've all watched Spider-Man. We've all watched Batman. We've all watched probably multiple Spider-Man and Batman movies, and we've probably watched them all in the same series with the same character playing, the either Spider-Man or Batman. Why did we need to watch, and let's say all of what's the one Spider-Man? Anyway, Tobey Maguire.
I hate Tobey Maguire.
Why in every single Tobey Maguire Spider-Man did we need to see Uncle Ben die? Did we forget that he died? Did anyone at any point in time look around the theater and go, where's Uncle Ben? Why isn't he here? I mean, have we ever in a million years since we've started watching Batman movies, have we ever looked at each other watching a Batman movie and been like, where are his parents? Why is Alfred hanging out with him? Where are his parents? Because we already know. But yeah, we got to sit through it for the first half hour of these movies every single time. Why? It's unnecessary backstory, folks.
It's funny. It's funny. I never once thought about that, but you're so right though. Every Batman has to have the scene of little Bruce Wayne watching his parents get murdered. You're right. Everyone has it.
Have you watched Bruce Wayne watch his parents get buried? I watched it no less than 6 different times.
No one has ever asked the question, where are his parents? Where are his parents? Why is he hanging out with this old man, Alfred?
No.
His parents know.
Never once was I like, hey guys, why is the Joker crazy and trying to murder people?
Yeah.
No one cares. Nobody has ever cared. Never.
So Perry said those movies are banned from this house. I think he was referring to when you had mentioned Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, because we had this conversation the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Pooh Bear is a horror movie. I want to watch it. No. I love Pooh Bear. Why do I want to watch it as a horror movie? I don't. And I think isn't there one that's just coming out? I think that's what we were talking about the other day. I think something just got announced.
Yeah, they did one Winnie the Pooh already. It was Blood and Honey, and they're doing or maybe that's the name of the second one. The first, but yeah, they did one already, and now they're doing a second one. I got to admit, I was disappointed, and I didn't even care that the story was dumb. Didn't care. Don't care that the budget wasn't there. I can get past a lot of problems. My biggest beef with that movie, and with what's going to be the second one, the costumes, the absolute terrible and it's not even like I get it that we're supposed to be forgotten, left behind, and we're kind of an apocalyptic deal. So I'm expecting torn and grody and dirty. That's fine. Here's my thing. How is Piglet a boar now? Piglet is a piglet. He's a pig.
And Piglet's adorable. Don't mess with my Piglet.
I don't even care.
I'm obviously passionate about Piglet.
Boar? That's a whole different species of pig that we've now made him into. It's kind of like Winnie the Pooh is not a honey Pooh Bear anymore. Now he's like a grizzly, gnarly brown. How are we changing species? That's the hardest part for me to believe. Not the fact that we've got talking bears and pigs and no, I don't care about all that. I'm disappointed that we changed their look so drastically. They look like an entirely different species. Why?
See, that's why I refuse to watch them. But he said that's not what he was talking about. He actually was referring to the Rom Zombie Halloween movies are banned from this house.
You know what? I can't even blame you for that. I don't blame. I support that wholeheartedly. Like I said, the only thing if you're into taking massive quantities of like psychedelics, it might be interesting. I mean, it just seemed to me like a fever dream. Personally, I thought that's my whole feeling on that. I thought it was a fever dream.
And Sir X-Man, or no, so then Perry said that the Wayne family has the most street cred in movies for getting shot 1,000 times. And Sir X-Man asked if we saw Once Upon a Time series on ABC because that's why he enjoyed the Gotham series. I have not seen it.
I did see Once Upon a. Oh wait, no. I haven't seen Once Upon a Time.
So you feel free to laugh at me, Sir X-Man. I don't even know. This was one of the Christian Bale Batmans, and we were watching it in the theater. And who was it? Commissioner Gordon, but he's like I don't think he was commissioner yet, so he was giving a speech, and Perry said something about him. I'm like, well, how do you know it's going to happen? Like, because I was thinking the movie just started. How do you know this? And he just like you could hear it in his voice, and he was just like, I read the comic. Like he was like, never once occurred to me that oh yeah. So maybe I'm the reason that they have to show the Waynes getting shot 1,000 times. People like me who magically forget that the whole universe exists. I don't know.
Listen,
to be fair, I do know
they could really hire 50 Cent. And I'm just saying they might have a better outlook if they just have a chat with 50. That's all I'm saying. Those movies are just they're the same thing. And what always kills me about the Batman movies in particular, and this could be me, it could be me. I feel like it's a lot of times the same story, which is odd because there's like 47,000 years of storylines for them to choose from, but they choose like the same 3 stories. Like I get it, the Joker is everybody's favorite. We get it. We got to add Harley Quinn and everything. I understand. That's fine. There are other villains that this guy's gone up against. I mean, closest we ever came to seeing Bane on screen, it was kind of disappointing. I'm not even gonna lie. I like Tom Hardy, but he's a bit small to play Bane.
Okay, so wait, why were you disappointed? Why were you disappointed with Bane?
Because he's 2 foot. Because Bane's supposed to be huge. He's supposed to be Batman's biggest adversary as far as size and strength is concerned, and Batman didn't have any trouble dealing with him whatsoever. And we dealt with him for like 5 minutes in the movie and he was done. It was a disappointment. The little girl was a bigger villain for him than Bane was. It was like, way to nerf Bane, guys. Way to like make him a toddler in the group. Like, how in the hell are you gonna do that?
See, I liked Bane, but I also, because I've never read the comics, I didn't know I didn't know. Right, for me, that's the only time I've ever seen Bane. So I can't be disappointed in somebody you don't know.
Cartoon Bane was more awesome. Cartoon Bane used to pick him up and like twirl him around and then throw him in the TV show. It was like I didn't even get nothing. We got Bane going, you adapted to the darkness. I was born in it. cool. Okay. Do something now. Do something, please.
So we have, because Batman is in the chat. He wants to see a Batman movie. He would still like to see a Batman movie that set the Arkham Asylum.
That would be cool.
And then I misunderstood Sir X-Man's comment. I combined them together and they're two separate things. So Gotham was a series about Commissioner Gordon and a young, super young Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
And then Perry says Bane destroyed Batman. People forget that. Bane broke Batman's back and retired Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
You can't forget what you don't ever know.
I didn't forget that. I remembered that. I knew. Bane was amazing. Like I said, he was one of the few people that actually genuinely scared Batman. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, no, they keep nerfing him. I haven't seen Arkham yet. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I just haven't watched it yet, only because I do not want to watch the Waynes die again. That's why, because I have like boycott after the Christian Bale Batman's, I have kind of like boycotted all things Batman for that reason. Like, I wasn't even thrilled to watch the Justice League because I was like, I know for sure that Justice League, just to drive it all home, we're gonna talk about everybody's dead parents and dead uncles.
You just need to show up to the movie 5 minutes late because all you would have missed are his parents dying. That's all.
Yeah, would have been a lot easier. I'm so tired of parents dying in these movies. We get it. The parents can't be alive. If the parents are alive, the superheroes aren't going to be allowed to do these things. We understand. Can't they just have already been dead for like 15 years by the time we meet them? I'd be cool with that. If a superhero walked on screen and they were like, oh, don't you have to worry about your parents, in some throwaway line, and they were like, I don't have to ask nobody to do nothing. My parents are dead. I've got butlers, you know.
So you said that no one that no one cares about backstory. I think this was in one of the movies though, because how does Batman, like, how is he so powerful? Because when you see him as Bruce Wayne, he just like looks like normal rich businessman. How is he so tough and jacked and everything?
It's the voice. When you
once you put the mask on, you have the power.
No, he was trained by the League of Assassins, I believe is what they're called in Batman's universe, is the League of Assassins. Okay. It depends on which. Listen, much like just with any other comic, there are like different ways you can go this. I think one way he was raised with the League of Assassins, another way Alfred's like a secret retired Secret Service agent or something. Basically, he's trained. He's rich. He's got money, and people taught him things. I
know that he has no powers, so he's trained in martial arts. But I'm saying, how is he even?
Because he's rich.
All of his training. Well, true. I guess you're rich. You have time and money.
I think
Michael Keaton's the best Batman.
If you had an endless amount of money at your disposal, you'd probably do some weird things too. I mean, I personally, I'm not going to chase after criminals.
Yeah, that's not in my top 10.
I might make an enemy's life hell because I can now afford to buy the bank that owns the loan to their house. So I'm going to essentially be buying their house, and then I will buy all the property around them, knock all the houses down. Like, it's going to be a whole good time. Batman's using his money the way he wants. I think it's wrong, but he can do what he wants. He also has a no-kill policy. I'm highly against that.
If I had Bruce Wayne money, I'd still have Alfred, though. I need someone to, like...
I'd probably get an extra Alfred.
You said a younger Alfred?
No, an extra one. I'm going to need more than one person to tell me no. My husband can't be everywhere at once, and he has to tell me no by himself as it is, and he's lucky that we're not rich. So that's our saving grace. But if I ever got like a dumb amount of money, yeah, we're gonna have to hire someone just to follow me around all day, going, no, don't do that. Don't no.
You've
Bad
gone
idea.
too far. Just reel it back in a little bit.
Yeah.
That may be illegal. We have to come up with something else to do.
At least I'm honest with myself. Everybody else likes to lie. Like, I'm a perfect person. Listen, I'm nowhere near perfect. I shouldn't even be a role model to the people in my family, much less other people's. Okay?
If I had that godly amount of money, I would build that little dome that Sandy Cheeks lives in. I'm just gonna build it here, and then I don't have to see anybody. Like Amazon and the grocery store can leave deliveries in the little airlock out front, and then I'll bring it inside. You don't need to rein me in because I'm never interacting with anyone again.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
I'm living in my climate control dome. So, okay, so we got an active chat tonight. I'm trying to keep up with it here. Sir X-Men loves Tigger. T.I. double go. Piglet's my favorite, but I love them all. I love Winnie the Pooh. He's adorable.
I was
I don't have a favorite
obsessed with Pooh
episode.
for a long time. That was my favorite Disney characters. I decorated my first apartment with Winnie the Pooh.
Ah,
And then when I had Tiny Giant, we decorated her nursery in Winnie the Pooh, and I went out and had Winnie the Pooh everything. And
my God.
she prefers Minnie Mouse.
Hey, at least she got Minnie Mouse. At least she didn't pick somebody crappy. She picked somebody good, you know?
I just cracked me up. I'm like, you couldn't have picked not a single character from Winnie the Pooh. Like, you couldn't have picked anybody. I got all this stuff from Winnie the Pooh to decorate a house with, and you didn't pick not a one character. Minnie Mouse. Oh, Minnie Mouse. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. Everyone has to have opinions, even if they're wrong.
Yes. So United says Lady Deathpool and Joker fall in love and Harley Quinn got jealous. I've never seen any of the movies with Harley Quinn, so I don't know if that's something from the movie or if that's something that you want to happen.
I don't know about Harley Quinn getting jealous, but I've heard about Lady Death and Deadpool getting together, because that one people have made. I've heard that joke before. Yeah.
So Alfred is sadly dead in the comics, which doesn't surprise me because he's so old.
I've always wondered how Alfred has been alive as long as he has, because
I think it's all the money.
He's usually like the same age when
Yeah.
Wayne's parents die that he is like later on. So I was like, how is he a vampire? That would be cool. I would watch the hell out of an Alfred show if he was a vampire or some weird.
Streaming executives, take note. We just came up with another idea.
That would make sense. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
And then everyone agrees. Everyone does not like James Gunn. So James Gunn canceled Batman Beyond last year with Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer. So Perry's done with their crap. Then Leroy Kong and Batman, they agree. Or nope, yeah. They already don't like James Gunn. No one likes him.
Yeah, well.
Don't mess with Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's amazing.
Yeah. So then, earlier up in the chat, Sir X-Men asked if we were excited for the new Beetlejuice movie. I have never seen Beetlejuice. But it works out perfectly because now I could watch Beetlejuice, and then next month, Beetlejuice is coming out on video on demand, so I'll be ready to go. I don't have to wait nearly as long for the sequel as the rest of you guys. You guys waited how many years for this? I'm going to wait less than a month. I timed it perfectly.
Oh, that's funny. That's too funny. That's not a bad way to go, though. I want to see the new Beetlejuice movie. I'm a bit nervous, though, only because they always say, oh my God, it's amazing. And you know what? It's not any good.
It made a killing at the box office. So, I mean, people are going out. It's been getting good reviews.
But a lot of people don't get refunds because you can't get a refund once the movie's over.
True.
So I mean, unless you, and usually movie theaters have a policy in place. If you do not leave within the first 15 minutes, you do not get a refund.
So you
So at
just
that
need to
point, you
make the
might as well
first
just
15 minutes of your movie amazing, and then you could just give up because people
pretty much,
you still
yeah.
need your money. You're still
I
good.
mean, I'm not, I'm not saying anything, but I am saying, did you see Army of the Dead? I'm just saying, 15 minutes of a good beginning doesn't seem that far fetched. That was a movie that was released at home.
Hmm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
went to a scare zone recently that was supposed to be the Las Vegas zombies, and I thought they were scarier than what Army of the Dead did for me. And that was a $1 billion movie by Zack Snyder. That's another guy who can have a seat in the back somewhere. Tired of his nonsense, too. Not everything needs to be full of explosions, guy. I know it sounds cool and it started off that way, but Snyder, you need to let it go. Have a seat. Say
Perry
no.
says that once the previews end, you can't get a refund.
Really? Wait a minute.
I've never once thought to ask for a refund. And
I
I've
have.
watched movies that sucked and that I wish I didn't spend my money on, but I've sat there and I watched them, I guess because I need to do something while I'm eating my popcorn.
Oh, not me. I've left. I nope, 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 nope. I won't get into some of the movies, but yeah, there's been a few times where I've gotten up after the movie started and was like, "There, no way in hell am I watching this." There's no, you gotta know. There's a line for everybody in the sand. I have a line and it crossed, and I'm not doing this again. No, thank you. No, never. I mean, it's just like I ended up watching what was it? Cabin Fever, the remake for Cabin Fever. That was against my will. That was maddening. Didn't appreciate that. Here's why. They didn't do anything different. Nothing. Nada. Not a second, not a scene, not a special effect. But you know what they did do? They managed to make every character horrible, so you wanted all of them to die. That's what they managed to do. They made every character that was somewhat likable and all their somewhat almost redeemable qualities, so they seemed more realistic. They took all of that away and gave you a bunch of crappy people and were like, here, hope that they don't die. And it was like, no, I really hope they do die. Like,
You're like, this
intentionally.
movie can wrap it up in 10 minutes. Just come, get rid of them.
And now, that movie was terrible. Horrible. Horrible.
Perry had a good point. The previews are longer than 15 minutes. So, right? So, from when the time the movie starts, because it doesn't really start, it is
Yeah,
previews are out of hand. It's like
it's not supposed to be from when the preview started. It's supposed to be when the movie starts. But again, I don't know if they still do that like that or not anymore. That you'd probably have to ask the theater themselves.
like I
But
said,
I know there was a
I've
way
never
to get a
thought to
refund.
even ask. The only time I've gotten a refund, I don't remember what movie we were going to see. Perry would know because he wanted to go see it, and it was the last weekend it was in the theater, and we sat there and we waited for like more than 15, 20 minutes, and the movie never started, and then they came in and they told us that there was a problem and they couldn't play it. No, we think that they just decided not to play it anymore, or they didn't have it. They sent the reel back or something, or I guess digital. I don't know how you send digital stuff back, but like I don't think they had any intention of playing it. That's the only time I've ever gotten a refund because they couldn't play the movie.
Good for you for making
Terminator
good
Dark Fate.
choices.
Well, no, the movie person came in and said we have to give you all refunds because we're not playing the movie.
That's what I'm saying. Good for you for making good choices. Because there's been
Oh.
plenty of times I've watched movies and been like, "This is terrible. I want my money back. Give me my money back. This is dog shit."
Well, I don't go to because I've only ever seen a handful of movies in the theater, so I haven't gone to many. So Perry said The Postman was the worst film he's seen in the theaters, and then Batman wants to know No, and Sir X-Men said you should have seen how many people left out of the South Park movie at the beginning. It was so funny. Dude, I love the South Park movie.
That movie's funny as hell.
Yeah. And Batman wants to know what's the worst experience in a theater.
Mm.
So my worst experience has nothing to do with the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have been a junior or senior in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and Independence Day came out. And two of my friends and I, we went, and it was like 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we go into the theater, and we were the only people there. And this was like the day after release day or something. But it just worked out that there was just no one around. So, right, when you go, this is one of the theaters before there was like stadium seating. So when you walked in the aisle, it's just angled all the way down till you get to the screen.
Yeah.
So because we're the only three people in the theater, I think it'll be funny. So I go to the back of the theater and I run down all the way to the front, except I trip and I fall. I mean, I bit it hard. I really just fell and like slid pretty far. There really was somebody in the theater who watched the whole thing unfold, and because I was a teenager, like it was mortifying. So
okay, I didn't hurt myself.
I hurt my
I did run
pride.
out of it. Mine involves running out of a theater, so I mean close. The worst experience I've probably ever had in a theater, hands down, and I don't think I will ever live up to this moment, only because for multiple reasons. The first one being I don't date anymore. I'm married. So I don't have to worry about that ever again.
Good thing you're not still dating.
Thank God for that one. No, I was a little smart ass. Obviously I am still smart ass. And I was in my early 20s. I had gone out drinking the night before with some friends, and I was super hungover for a date that I was supposed to go on. It was like a blind date. I was basically doing it as like a favor for a friend. The friend was like, go out with this guy, and I was like, okay, whatever. And he's well, let's go to the movies. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great bet. I'm thinking I'm gonna go sit in a dark theater with a hangover. This is gonna be gravy, baby. And he's like, what do you want to go see? And I'm like, well, I like horror movies. I don't watch romantic comedies and stuff. So, like, let's go see a horror movie. Cabin Fever had come out. So he says, well, let's go see this. And I was like, right on, let's see that one. And he's like, I don't know if you're going to want to see it, though. It's pretty grotesque. I'm like, please. Okay, this is nothing. It'll be fine. Let's go. And he kept trying to talk me out of it. I don't know why, but he kept trying to. It's
maybe it was too grotesque for him.
You're a lady. You're not going to enjoy it. You know, most girls don't like, movies like this. It's going to be like all gore. And I'm like, listen, dude, just shut up and let's go see the movie. Well, it was fine. I was fine for the whole movie. And anyone who's ever watched the movie knows what I'll be talking about. The shaving scene. When they got to the shaving scene and homegirl is in the bathtub and she puts her leg up props it up on the side right there, and goes in by her ankle to go to town, my stomach went, nope. Being a lady myself, I have shaved my legs and I have tortured myself by skinning my ankles because, what woman has ever shaved her legs and not taken the skin off of her legs? Because it's just a natural thing to do. It's a must do. You have to. It's like a rite of passage. And as soon as she did that, and all I could picture was the time I had taken a nice chunk of skin off, and I went, I'll be back. Ran out of the theater to the first bathroom to go get sick. And I was so embarrassed that it made me get sick like that. And all I can think of as I'm walking back in the theater is, what am I going to say? Because I can't tell him that I left and threw up, but I'm sure it's going to be obvious. Damn, this sucks. So that was the worst moment, because then after that, of course, after we got out of the movie theater, he kept going, I told you we didn't have to go see it. You could have kept yourself from getting sick. And I'm like, you don't shut up, dude. I'm going to shave your legs and show you why it made me sick with a hangover. Worst experience in theater.
I'm guessing there was no second date after that.
He was obnoxious, not a chance.
Yeah.
No. Listen, guys, if a lady tells you she likes scary movies, don't try and talk her out of it. And if she gets sick, don't ask questions. Just be like, "You good? Good? Okay, let it go."
Well, like with that on a date with somebody that you don't know, and you tell her that, but you're just a woman, you can't handle this. It's going to be too scary. Like that's probably not the best approach to take.
He was not.
Probably not gonna work out too well.
I understand why I was asked to go on a blind date with this guy and not meet him before. And it was after that I implemented a rule with all of my friends after that. I am not going on blind dates for any of you ever again. So don't bother asking because the answer is no. You set me up with idiots. I don't know where you meet these guys, but you can put them back under the rock. You grabbed them out from under. So
you're right. There's a reason they had to set him up on a blind date.
If irritation was a person, it would have been him for sure. I can't even remember his name. He was that irritating. I couldn't remember his name to warn other women if I wanted to.
So I can't believe that Sir X-Men I'm still thinking about when he said so many people walked out in the beginning of South Park movie.
I wonder how many people picked up the video game and then instantly turned the gaming console off as soon as that started playing. Because like the first time I turned it on, I wasn't expecting it. Right, I knew. Listen, we know what South Park is. We knew what we were getting into with it. I wasn't expecting the song right away like that. With all it, I put it on and went, "Oh no."
But
oh.
If you're going to a South Park movie, I'm assuming that that's not the first time you've ever heard of South Park.
Oh, God, no.
Don't you know what you're getting yourself into? Right? I mean,
I would hope so. I gotta say the second South Park game, I wasn't expecting that from them. There's a section of that game that I have to say, even I was a little shocked by when I was playing it. I went, wait a minute, what? We're doing, where are we? What are we doing? And then we did it. And I was like, I understand we do a lot of really weird things, but this is even a bit much for the game. Like, but okay. So is it surprising? No, not really. It can still shock you in new and impressive ways.
Yeah.
I'll get off that. I mean, then again, they also came up with that one song, so you really can't have too many high hopes for it when we're kind of way down here.
Yeah. One thing I do love now, though, is so many times when you see animated things and people draw Canadians and they draw their head split like that. Like, I just love that, how that carries over to other things. And you're just like, oh, that guy's Canadian.
I think the best thing South Park ever did was make the Terrence and Phillip characters.
Yep.
I mean, they are hands down the funniest characters. They could have, and they have some of the best songs. I will have to give it to them. Like, and to make it even funnier, to know that the two guys, Trey Parker and I can't think of what the other guy's name
Matthew
is.
Stone.
Matthew Stone.
Yeah.
Went to the Golden Globes or something. They went to award shows, tripping balls.
And one of them had the green JLo dress on.
That's the night they decided the story behind it is the best thing I've ever heard. They wanted to look pretty and feel pretty. So they had these dresses made so they could wear them as kind of like a ha-ha.
Yeah.
But they wanted to be fancy, but they didn't want to be basic and wear suits. And then I guess like 20 minutes before they left, they decided to go ahead and just take some acid. And then as they're in the car right there, they're like, what are we going to say to people? Because, we're kind of on drugs. We can't really just be rattling things off. We're on drugs, which I think is very smart on their behalf for being stupid and doing some quantities of drugs in front of cameras. But hey, at least they were smart enough to plan in advance what they were going to say. Don't do drugs, kids. They're bad. Okay. They decided all they were going to respond to all night is they were going to say, isn't it wonderful? Everyone looks so lovely tonight. And they stuck to it no matter what anybody said to them all night, no matter what they were asking them. All they kept repeating was, isn't it so wonderful tonight? Everyone looks so beautiful. And it is the funniest thing when you go and nobody could use their interviews.
Yeah.
Because you could tell these guys were gored. They were like, it's so wonderful. Everyone looks amazing tonight.
I love that that was just their whole response. I've never seen any of the interviews. I just saw all the photos of them.
That's all they kept saying back. People would be like, oh, who are you wearing? What inspired you to wear the dresses? Why are you wearing the dresses? And all they kept saying was, isn't it wonderful? Everyone looks so beautiful. I got to be more specific. Isn't it wonderful? Everyone looks so beautiful tonight. Nobody can use a single interview. If you could find them, they're hysterical because that's all they say. Doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are being nominated for, new song of the year in the series. What do you guys think? Do you think you have a chance of winning? Isn't it wonderful? Everyone looks so beautiful tonight.
Sir X had said that when Terrence and Philip were singing the Uncle song, that people are taking their kids out. But again, who's taking their kids to a South Park movie if you don't know what South Park is all about? Because it's probably not a movie you should have taken your kids to in the first place.
Liz, when it was on TV, it's not necessarily appropriate for some kids.
So, so if your kid's young enough, why would you even take them to the theater to see that? Their kid just wanted to see it, and they said, okay, we'll go. Perry likes about Satan singing. He thinks that's good. The fact that Satan and Saddam Hussein are in a relationship is one of the funniest things ever to me. That is comedy gold.
I thought that was like one of the best. I remember the first time I watched it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, they're not. They did. I mean, back then when all this stuff was going across the screen, this was real new. It wasn't exactly, when they made fun of Paris Hilton, that episode is legendary. It is the most raunchiest thing. I like Paris Hilton, but I think that episode is hilarious. And I can't imagine she's genuinely like that reality. So I think, the way I see it, if you've made a name for yourself, South Park's going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
If you're anybody in the world, South Park is going to if South Park decides to make me a character one day and just play me to the wall just for straight laughs, I would love every minute of it.
Yeah,
I like the character, but I'd be
make fun of me all day long.
Someone cares enough about me to actually make fun of me when I'm not around. Really? Yes, please. And they're funny. They're always funny. I don't care. And they're always funny.
So Sir X-Men said he loved it with Cartman's song, Kyle's mom, and she was standing right behind him. Is that Kyle's mom is a big fat?
Yep. I know that whole song by heart.
Very like Satan's birthday cake episode. My favorite episode is the Human Centipede episode. I've never seen the Human Centipede movies because I don't need to torture myself. I don't think who even came up with the concept. I don't know. It's gross. They're sequels. What's wrong with people? But is the Human Centipede hysterical?
I'm not even gonna lie. The movies are completely a waste of time. I have unfortunately watched. I was suckered into watching some of them, so it's not like I didn't set out to watch all of them. It's not like I was like, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
so depraved with my thoughts being inside my head. I need to watch the nastiest thing I
Yeah.
can. I was suckered into it. I watched the first one, went back to my friend because she suggested I watched it to me years ago, and I went back to her and I yelled at her.
Yeah.
I yelled at her. I was like,
You're
"What
supposed to
is
be my
wrong
friend.
with you? This is what the hell is wrong with?" And people watch this. People have genuinely, like, you're telling people to watch this. What's wrong with you?
Aren't there 3 of them?
There are 3 of them.
Like, enough people watched one that they made a second, and enough people watched that they made a third.
And it only gets worse as it goes. It really gets worse as they go. I mean, it. I cannot stress how bad they are. It's not possible to put into words how bad they are. They are unnecessary, entirely unnecessary.
Well, but they're necessary because then they got me my Human Centipede South Park episode.
Yeah, that's about all they're useful for. I mean, the second one is hands down some of the most depraved things you will see on screen.
I know
I
that's why
questioned
we'll watch
all
it.
life choices. I,
Yeah.
I questioned all my life choices. I thought about calling, like putting myself on some kind of list after that. It's like I don't know what kind of list I need to be on. Something like this cannot be okay.
Number one, I would like to report myself. I just watched a movie that I had no one has any business watching. Please, there's
I
got to be
don't
a
know.
watch list for people like me.
Someone please tell me why they thought this was acceptable. Um, well, there's been a few times where I've watched movies and after watching them, I'm like, I really need to rethink all of my life choices.
Yeah.
I need to, I need
You
to,
need someone to come by with the that little pen from Men in Black to just erase that little portion of your memory.
I would say yes, but I'm afraid that I would forget that I watched this bullshit and accidentally
Watch it
watch
again.
it again. Because like there's been a few movies where I've like the ABCs of Death, the idea behind the ABCs of Death, it's an anthology where it's a bunch of different short stories all put together to make one long movie. And every story is based on a letter of the alphabet.
Okay.
And it was done by like 5 or 6 different directors around the world, not just one country or another. There's like one from Spain, one from America, one from Thailand, or Tokyo, or there's one from somebody's from everywhere. It's basically a unicorn rainbow movie, and great in theory, awesome. They did 2 of them that I know of. I watched 2 of them. Great in theory. Most of the execution's okay, but then every once in a while they'll do a letter, and it makes you question everything else. You're like, wait a minute, wait, why? What? Why? And there was one time I actually rewinded it to watch it again because I was like, I missed something. I missed something. Something doesn't seem. I missed something. There has to be a reason for this. There was no reason. No reason. I think at one point somebody just started taking shit, rolling it into a ball, and throwing it at the wall to see what would stick. And they were like, film that. This sounds perfect.
Okay.
I recommend them.
Better or worse than the Centipede movies?
Better.
That's what I expected. I figured you probably could not get worse than the
You can't get worse than the Centipede movies.
movies.
The Centipede movies are absolutely terrible. There's no point. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. There is no point. Just imagine a even crazier guy in charge for the next movie, and that's your movie right there. You got more people and a crazier guy. That's the whole movie. It's unnecessary. Nobody needs to see it. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. The Cube movies, I've never understood them. I've only seen two of them. I don't get them. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're great either. They're good for kills, but I couldn't even get attached to any of the characters because they're all amnesiacs and they don't know anything about themselves. So it was like, am I supposed to like these people? Am I not supposed to like them? I was kind of confused on that. So I don't like or dislike them. I don't have a view on the cubes, I guess.
I've never seen them. I never even heard of them, so I'm gonna have to look them up now. But so Leroy Kong, I don't know if you are still here. You said you were heading out, but thank you for subscribing. It came through as a subscriber, so thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Perry's he's gonna ruin all of us. Rob Zombie's gonna reboot the Centipede movies and the world's gonna explode. He just
I don't think Rob Zombie wants that kind of drama in his life. I think I remember watching him do a few interviews, and he said after making Halloween with Universal, he pretty much never wants to make movies with big studios like that again because it was such a nightmare for him. The only reason he did it was to get another movie made out of it.
Well, no big studio is going to make another Centipede movie like this. That would be the perfect.
I won't say never. I can absolutely picture a studio taking all three of those terrible movies and then just cramming them into one. Pun intended.
But see, that makes a perfect movie poster though, because you'd have movies 1, 2, and 3, like, and you'd have your people. I mean, good marketing.
It'd make life easier.
I'm telling you, I don't care. I'm never gonna watch the movies, but again, it got me. My Human Centipede episode, and it kills me in a good way. I think it's Kyle who's in the Centipede. That he's in the middle, so his legs don't touch the ground. I love it. I laugh hysterically every time. His feet don't even touch. He's not even close to touching the ground.
Oh my gosh. I like the Mormon episode. I think that one's hilarious. It explains Mormonism.
Yeah.
Best explanation of a religion I've ever heard. I always tell people, I'm like, you want to know about a religion? Watch the South Park episode on it. Guaranteed it's correct.
Yeah.
It's the closest you will ever get to some of those religions. Find them out.
There's just so many great South Park episodes.
There are.
I love it.
Rob's destroyed the monsters. He filled it on iPhone 6 Plus. Honestly, I wasn't thrilled with the monsters, the Rob Zombie monsters, but I was glad it kept it corny. I was afraid they were going to completely lose the corny of it because the monsters are corny. They're not supposed to be. It's not the Brady Bunch. It's supposed to be funny and goofy and corny as all hell. So I thought he did a pretty good job. I wish he could have toned down the colors a little bit. It seemed like he was having too much fun with the neon. Way too much fun with the neon lights. And more backstory that I didn't need, but it wasn't the worst.
So Dredd says that Millipede is going to be a string of ladies called Millie. See, but this was that I'm going to flesh this out for you because this is going to be a campy college horror movie, and it's going to be that one of the sororities at college only lets people named Millie join, and Millie, of course, is going to just be all the rich girls and all look the same. And like that's part of the initiation is that they become the Millipede. Exactly how it's gonna. That's the exact setting for it.
Oh my gosh. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm enjoying Sir X-Men. I'm going for the next Final Destination. I want to see the Final Destination. I'd be so happy if they did any final. I don't care if it's a TV show or a
Yeah.
movie or if they reboot the whole thing and start again. That's fine.
So this was like, I don't even know how long ago. X-Men said something about what's Rod. I just lost the name of it. Rod Sterling, the little dude on the plane on the wing. Twilight Zone.
Oh,
But
oh,
he was talking about the Twilight
William
Zone
Shatner.
episodes.
William
Well, you talk about
Shatner.
the Twilight Zone episodes when we were talking about you should have like little horror movies.
Yeah.
Could totally make Final Destination, but like Twilight Zone episodes of it.
That would be so cool. I'm not even gonna
Mhm.
lie. And you know what? I think I saw somebody say something about the old Twilight Zone episodes were scary. The old Twilight Zone episodes were a lot freakier because it played on the fear of what if this happened and you were having to deal with it? What if this was going on and nobody but you knew about it?
Yep.
And that I always found horrifying. So I think if they did take that and put it into like a Final Destination, that would be awesome. Give me the guy with the glasses where the whole world is frozen in time and his glasses break with all his precious books and now he can't read. That's horrifying. That's probably
Mhm.
more terrifying than actually dying would be because now you're just stuck
Yep.
blind, walking around, doing nothing. Because he drops the watch, so he can't fix the watch either.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some good episodes. Perry said test screenings took place last month. Final Destination Bloodlines coming summer 2025.
Ooh. Is it going to be a TV show or a movie?
I think it's a movie because he did.
Cool.
Now that he said that, I do remember he told me about this. I'm definitely going to see that. That'll be good.
I don't need them to tie it into any of the other movies. We already did that. We have a nice little circle with a little bow on it. I don't need this to be involved with any of the other ones. I just want to see me silently coming for someone in the background with our ridiculous setups with some water spilt on the floor and a cat knocking over a pencil and a twig falling in the tree in the yard. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He said it's a movie.
That's so cool.
And Sir X-Men says the old Outer Limits did the same thing like Twilight Zone. They had the scary moments too. I've never seen Outer Limits.
I used to watch The Outer Limits for a while, and then I don't know what happened to it. It got more into the sci-fi aspect of it than anything else, and everything was more or less like Star Trek-y. Like, it was like, I watch Star Trek every week. I don't need to watch it multiple times a day.
Yeah.
But the old Outer Limits used to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Although they did have the one about the ants. They were like sentient beings.
Mm.
That one was fun. It's got a famous guy in it too. I can't think of his name, but as soon as you see him, you'll recognize him. He's got a mole on his face. Mole.
A famous guy with a bowl.
Famous guy with the mole.
All right. Though we had a very active chat tonight, so thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Cameron stole Terminator from Twilight Zone. He was sued over it? Really? Good. If he stole it from them, he should be. My God. I don't remember a Terminator episode in the Twilight Zone, but I'll have to take your word for it. I have to watch
Yeah,
it.
I don't remember this one.
Would have had to have been one of the
If
old.
he was sued over it though, then you don't get sued for nothing. Well, I mean, I guess you can sue for nothing, but normally for stuff like that, like you have, even if you don't win, there seems to be something there. You know?
Yeah.
Did he lose the lawsuit?
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll have to find out more info on this one. Now I'm curious. So X-Men is a Trekkie for life.
Can I look at that?
The producers of Terminator were sued for plagiarism by the writers of The Outer Limits due to an episode with a similar story. So I think that they had to. They settled with the people. So then they had to, like, part of the settlement is they had to, like, add in acknowledgement to the works of the guy who wrote it.
Huh.
So there's probably money involved too. I would assume.
Yeah, there's definitely money involved.
Interesting. But
God, some of those people are funny looking. Earl Bowen looks really different out of costumes.
yep, always money. Yeah, especially if you're going to come to a settlement. That's the please. It's going to cost us X amount of dollars to fight this, so we'll give you a little bit less than X amount of dollars just to stop this.
Yeah, it's always about the money.
Yep.
I just recently was talking about that the other day to somebody. Nintendo got sued by Universal for Donkey Kong. Nintendo got sued because of Donkey Kong because Donkey Kong's a gorilla, and they said that Universal said that it was too close to King Kong, to the idea of what their character of King Kong. So yeah, they went after Nintendo, and for a while, Nintendo at first relented because they were a much smaller company and didn't have the money to go to fight back with them. So for a little while, Nintendo was giving profit over to Universal as a way, basically, for licensing the character. And then eventually, somehow or another, Nintendo kind of went, all right, it was Mario, their character of Mario. They came after something about Mario, and they went, you know what? Never mind. We'll see you guys in court.
It is two big companies, like both of them have money for lawyers. It's not like a big guy suing a little guy that you just roll over. I mean, that's two people who have a lot of money to throw at lawyers.
Well, now they do. When Nintendo first came over to the US, they didn't. They were a very small company, which is why they rolled over, because they knew they couldn't go up against Universal's money. But after a while, it was like, we got money too, guys. So yeah, Universal doesn't have the rights. Now they've bought them out for their movie rights and things, so they can make their movies and license their characters in the parks and stuff.
Yeah.
But they pay Nintendo money now. My, how the tables turn. Used to be Nintendo was paying Universal, now Universal is paying Nintendo. Look at that.
Oh, classic horror movie by Stephen King. A lot of people don't know about is Langoliers. I've never seen that one. I've heard about it, but I don't think I've ever seen that. I think what we've learned tonight is that I need to watch a lot more movies. Well, this is a TV series. The heck are these things in the sky? Oh, I have to go read this now.
Oh, I remember this show. I do remember that. I don't remember much about it. I just remember bits and pieces of it. I'll have to go back and watch it again. It's been so long. I remember it was corny. But a lot of Stephen King movies and TV shows were absolutely corny. So that really doesn't say a whole lot.
Yeah. That's what you're expecting. Oh, Perry just got me Dr. Sleep on 4K from Stephen King. I'm pumped. I've probably watched more movies since meeting Perry than I have the entire rest of my life. Like leading up to that. Yeah. But I do. I need so now I have all these horror movies that I have to watch.
Yeah. I just want to know why so many Stephen King stories are turned into movies and TV shows. That's my question. There are so many horror writers out there. And when you think about it in the long term, Stephen King probably has more of his stories turned into movies and TV shows than any other horror writer out there. That's hella impressive. But why him out of all of them?
Because he has the name recognition.
Probably.
Right? If they just said, oh, we have this book based on, Bill Smith. Well, do you know who he is? If you happen to read his horror stories, you're going to know him. But everyone else is going to be like, who the heck is Bill Smith? I never heard of that guy. Right? But if it's, oh, this movie's Stephen King, you're like, oh, okay. Right? I think that's what it is he's just well known.
Yeah, could be. Could be. It's just sad that it's the case because there are so many other writers that have done well.
Yeah.
And
everyone's so worried about remaking, rebooting, redoing all of these movies when we have all these other stories out there.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind well, hell, if they keep making Star Wars and they insist on making Star Wars, there's a Star Wars horror stories like that, straight up Black Plague zombies. Like, it's gnarly. Prison ships. We could get down with that, but instead we just keep talking about Jedis and rewriting that storyline and redoing Macbeth for the 12,000th time.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Star Wars and tell me you don't think of Macbeth.
I don't know, but I am glad that Star Wars gave me Baby Yoda, so I can't complain.
Oh, back, you don't like Romero? George Romero, the grandfather of zombies as we know them. Gotta show Romero some love. That man did great work. They've kind of messed up the zombies, but that's not his fault. But whatever. It is almost midnight yet again. We seem to be doing real good at staying up late.
I know. Thank you, everyone. Everyone, I know a bunch of people are heading to bed now, but thank you, everyone who's left in the chat. You guys were really active tonight. We appreciate it. It always makes for a fun time to interact with everybody.
Yes. Always appreciate you guys interacting. And yes, Sir X-Men, Pet Sematary and Thinner are both very good movies and stories. I could use more, though. Besides, if they remake Thinner, I'm going to be really mad. That's a movie that needs to be left alone. That movie is amazing the way it is now. Holds up beautifully. No need to redo it. None whatsoever. Yeah, Perry, I agree. Romero should have done Resident Evil. I don't know if Paul Anderson's someone who did it, but I'll take your word for it. Is it because Mila Jovovich is that the guy that's married to her? No, she's married to the guy from Fifth Element still, isn't she? Whatever. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it tonight. We've discussed movies, stories, haunted houses,
And Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear. Yeah. Yeah. If you tune in next week, I might have some complaints about setting up a bunch of bodies in the woods somewhere, but you never know.
Yeah, that's what we'll be ready to hear about tales of dragging bodies through the woods.
Always good times to be had. But with
Yeah.
that said, I have to go drag some bodies through the woods tomorrow, guys. So I've got to go get some sleep. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
With that being said, I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Piggles.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.